If you're over 50 and you drink beet juice because you heard it as good for your heart, your blood pressure, or your stamina, this is something you absolutely need to hear today. Because while beet juice can be helpful in certain situations, combining it with the wrong foods can quietly push your body in a dangerous direction, especially as you age. And I've seen this happen in real patients, not on social media, not in supplements ads, but in real clinics where men walked in thinking they were being healthy and walked out shocked by what their blood tests showed. And before we go any further, let me say this clearly. So there is no shame and no fear here. Drinking beet juice does not mean you've done something wrong, and eating healthy does not mean you're safe from unintended effects. Because after 50, your metabolism, your kidneys, your prostate, and your blood vessels simply do not react the same way they did at 30, and that's the part no one explains properly. Beet juice is powerful. It is not neutral. It changes nitric oxide levels, blood pressure, mineral balance, kidney workload, and even how your prostate responds to inflammation signals. And when you mix that power with the wrong foods, you can overload systems that are already aging quietly in the background. Many men over 50 start drinking beet juice because they hear it natural, and therefore harmless. But natural does not mean gentle. And in medicine, we learn very early that some of the strongest physiological effects come from natural compounds, and beet juice is one of them. It dramatically increases nitric oxide in the blood, which opens blood vessels, lowers blood pressure, and changes how oxygen moves through your tissues. That can be a good thing in controlled situations, but when combined with certain foods, especially common foods, men over 50 eat every day, it can drop blood pressure too fast, stress the kidneys, thicken the blood paradoxically, or worsen prostate-related urinary symptoms in ways that don't show up immediately. The danger here is not dramatic collapse. The danger is slow, silent strain that builds over weeks and months. One of the most common mistakes I see is men over 50 drinking beet juice alongside foods that are already high in nitrates, like processed meats, cured meats, deli meats, sausages, bacon, and hot dogs. On their own, these foods already raise nitrate and nitrite levels in the body. When you add beet juice on top of that, you are stacking nitric oxide production beyond what your blood vessels can regulate properly. In younger men, the body adapts. In older men, especially those with early vascular stiffness or hidden plaque buildup, this can cause unpredictable blood pressure swings. I've seen men feel dizzy, weak, foggy, and fatigued, and never connect it to what they were eating because it doesn't happen immediately. It happens an hour later, or the next morning, or after a few weeks when their system is constantly being pushed. Even more concerning, excessive nitrate conversion in the gut, especially when combined with processed meats, increases the formation of nitrosamines, compounds that have been associated with prostate irritation and long-term cellular stress. This is not fear talk. This is basic biochemistry that becomes more relevant with age. Another dangerous combination is beet juice with high potassium foods, especially if you are over 50 and your kidney function is not what it used to be, even if you've never been told you have kidney disease. Foods like bananas, avocados, oranges, coconut water, spinach, and sweet potatoes are all healthy in isolation. But beet juice already contains a significant potassium load. When men combine beet juice with potassium-heavy meals, potassium levels in the blood can creep up silently. You won't feel this at first. There's no pain, no warning. But elevated potassium affects heart rhythm and muscle signaling. And I've had patients come in with palpitations, weakness, or strange chest sensations that turned out to be dietary stacking, not heart disease. After 50, the kidneys clear potassium more slowly, and medications many men take, like blood pressure drugs, ACE inhibitors, or prostate medications, can worsen this effect without anyone realizing it. Dairy products are another overlooked problem when combined with beet juice. Many men drink beet juice in the morning with yogurt, milk, or protein shakes that contain whey or casein. The issue here is calcium and oxalates. Beets are high in oxalates, compounds that bind with calcium in the gut. When beet juice is taken with dairy, oxalate absorption can increase, raising the risk of kidney stones, especially in men over 50 who already have slower urinary flow due to prostate enlargement. Reduced urinary flow means crystals sit longer in the urinary tract, increasing the chance of stone formation. What makes this dangerous is that men don't connect prostate symptoms with kidney stones until they are in severe pain. I've seen men who thought their urinary issues were just age-related end up in emergency rooms because of a preventable dietary combination. Alcohol is another major issue that no one likes to talk about honestly. Some men mix beet juice with wine, beer, or spirits, thinking it balances things out or helps circulation. In reality, beet juice and alcohol both dilate blood vessels. Together, they can cause excessive vasodilation, leading to sudden drops in blood pressure, headaches, flushing, and in some men, fainting episodes. More importantly for prostate health, alcohol increases inflammation and irritates the bladder and prostate. When combined with beet juice's nitric oxide surge, it can worsen nighttime urination, urgency, and incomplete emptying. Men often blame their prostate alone, not realizing their drink combinations are amplifying the problem. Another dangerous pairing is beet juice with high-sodium foods, especially restaurant meals, fast food, packaged snacks, and salty sauces. This one confuses people because beet juice lowers blood pressure, while sodium raises it. The problem is that this creates a push-pull effect that stresses the blood vessels. Instead of steady regulation, your cardiovascular system is constantly correcting itself. Over time, this leads to vascular fatigue, endothelial dysfunction, and increased strain on the kidneys. For men over 50, this is especially problematic because it accelerates vascular aging, which directly affects prostate blood flow, erectile function, and pelvic circulation. Poor circulation doesn't just affect the heart. It affects the prostate's ability to clear inflammation and waste products. High-protein meals, especially large servings of red meat or protein shakes, are another risky combination with beet juice in older men. Protein metabolism produces nitrogenous waste that the kidneys must filter. Beet juice increases kidney workload by altering blood flow and mineral balance. Together, they can overwhelm kidneys that are already operating at reduced efficiency due to age. This doesn't cause immediate kidney failure, but it can show up as rising creatinine levels, worsening urinary symptoms, or increased prostate swelling due to fluid retention. Men often think protein is always good, especially if they're trying to stay strong, but timing and combinations matter far more after 50. One of the most overlooked combinations is beet juice with supplements, especially nitric oxide boosters, L-arginine, L-citrulline, pre-workout powders, and erectile support supplements. Many men stack these without realizing they all work on the same pathway. This can lead to excessive nitric oxide levels, headaches, flushing, low blood pressure, and in some cases worsening erectile quality due to unstable blood flow. Erections require controlled blood flow, not excessive flow. Too much nitric oxide can actually disrupt the balance needed for firmness and sustainability, something very few supplement companies will ever tell you. What makes all of this more dangerous is that the prostate sits at the crossroads of urinary flow, vascular health, hormonal balance, and inflammation. When dietary combinations stress the kidneys, blood vessels, or bladder, the prostate feels it. Symptoms like weak stream, urgency, nighttime urination, pelvic discomfort, and even PSA fluctuations can be influenced by what you drink and eat together, not just by disease. PSA in particular can rise temporarily due to inflammation, vascular stress, or urinary retention, and men panic when they see a number without understanding the context. Now here's the part I want you to hear clearly and calmly. Beet juice itself is not evil. It is not poison. It can be helpful when used correctly, at the right time, and with the right foods. The problem is not the beet. The problem is stacking powerful physiological effects without understanding how aging changes your tolerance. After 50, your margin for error is smaller. That does not mean you are fragile. It means you must be intentional. If you enjoy beet juice, the safest approach for men over 50 is to treat it like a functional tool, not a daily ritual mixed with everything. Drink it alone or with low oxalate, low potassium foods. Avoid combining it with alcohol, processed meats, heavy dairy, high sodium meals, or nitric oxide supplements. Pay attention to how your body responds, especially dizziness, urinary changes, palpitations, or increased nighttime urination. These are signals, not weaknesses. I also want to say something important about shame, because many men feel embarrassed when dietary choices affect their prostate or sexual health. This is not a failure, this is physiology. Your body is changing because you are alive, not because you are broken. The strongest men I see in my practice are the ones who learn how to adapt instead of pretending they are still 30. If you've been drinking beet juice and noticed changes in your urination, erections, blood pressure, or lab numbers, do not panic. Most of these effects are reversible when you adjust combinations and timing. Awareness is power here, not fear. And if no one has told you this before, that's not because you missed something. It's because modern health advice rarely speaks directly to men over 50 with honesty and respect. Your prostate is not your enemy. Your aging body is not betraying you. It is asking for smarter inputs, better timing, and less stacking of extremes. When you listen instead of pushing harder, things often improve in ways that surprise men the most. And if you take one thing from this today, let it be this. Health after 50 is not about adding more superfoods. It's about removing silent conflicts. When you stop forcing powerful foods to work against each other, your body often does the healing work on its own, quietly, steadily, and with dignity. Another layer most men never consider is how beet juice interacts with age-related changes in digestion. After 50, stomach acid levels often decline. This means certain foods are broken down more slowly and incompletely. When beet juice enters a digestive system that is already slower, its natural compounds can linger longer than expected. That extended presence increases the chance of interaction with other foods eaten hours later. This is why some men swear beet juice suddenly stopped agreeing with them, even though they drank it for years without issues. The body didn't betray them. The chemistry simply changed. Your prostate sits at the crossroads of multiple systems: urinary, hormonal, vascular, and immune. Any food that strongly affects blood flow, nitric oxide production, or kidney filtration can indirectly influence prostate behavior. Beet juice is powerful because it amplifies nitric oxide. Nitric oxide widens blood vessels, which sounds beneficial, and in many cases it is. But in an aging body, excessive or poorly timed vessel dilation can cause pressure shifts in the pelvic region. These shifts don't announce themselves loudly. They show up quietly as incomplete bladder emptying, a weaker stream, pelvic heaviness, or that nagging sensation that makes you feel like you still need to urinate even when you've done a T. Many men mistakenly assume these symptoms mean, my prostate is getting worse, or this is just aging. What they don't realize is that food timing and combinations can temporarily aggravate prostate tissue, making normal age-related enlargement feel far more severe. This leads to unnecessary fear, unnecessary testing, and sometimes unnecessary medication. Knowledge here doesn't replace medical care, but it can prevent panic and help you interpret your body more accurately. Another important factor is oxalates. Beet juice is naturally high in oxalates, which are compounds that can bind to minerals in your body. When oxalates accumulate, they don't just affect kidneys. They can increase inflammatory load throughout the pelvic region. For men over 50, whose kidneys may already filter less efficiently than they once did, frequent beet juice combined with certain foods can quietly increase oxalate burden. Over time, this can create discomfort that feels like prostate trouble, but is actually a metabolic imbalance showing up in the prostate area. What makes this especially tricky is that symptoms don't always appear immediately. A man may drink beet juice regularly for weeks or months before noticing changes. When symptoms finally appear, he looks everywhere except his daily habits. This delayed reaction is one reason dietary triggers are so hard to identify without clear guidance. The prostate remembers stress longer than you think. It reacts cumulatively, not instantly. Let's talk about vitality for a moment, because prostate health is never just about urination. It's about energy, confidence, sexual comfort, and how you feel in your own body. When circulation becomes erratic, vitality drops. Men describe it as feeling flat, heavy, or off, even if blood tests look mostly normal. Beet juice in the wrong context can contribute to this by pushing circulation too far in one direction, then forcing the body to compensate. The constant compensation drains energy reserves. There's also a psychological toll that rarely gets acknowledged. Men over 50 are often told to eat healthier, without being told how sensitive their system has become. When symptoms appear, they blame themselves. They feel betrayed by foods they thought were helping them. This creates distrust toward their own body. As a physician, I want to be very clear about this. Your body is not fragile, and it's not failing. It's communicating. The problem is that no one taught you the language. Another overlooked issue is hydration balance. Beet juice is often consumed as a concentrated drink, not a food. Liquids move faster through the body than solids. This can create rapid shifts in fluid balance, especially when combined with salty or protein-heavy meals. These shifts can irritate the bladder and prostate simultaneously. When men report nighttime urination after healthy dinners, this fluid timing is often part of the story. One of the biggest myths I hear is that prostate symptoms always mean disease. In reality, many symptoms reflect functional stress rather than structural damage. That's good news, because functional stress can often be reduced with smarter choices. The challenge is knowing which choices matter. Beet juice doesn't harm every man, but for some men over 50, especially those already dealing with mild prostate enlargement, sensitive bladders, or fluctuating PSA levels, it can act as an amplifier. It doesn't create the problem. It magnifies what's already there. PSA deserves special mention here. PSA levels can rise due to inflammation, irritation, recent sexual activity, exercise, and yes, dietary stress. Men panic when PSA changes because they're taught to see it as a cancer marker only. In reality, PSA is a prostate activity marker. Anything that irritates the prostate can temporarily elevate PSA. When beet juice is repeatedly combined with the wrong foods, it can contribute to this irritation cycle. This doesn't mean beet juice causes cancer. It means misunderstanding nutrition can create unnecessary fear. The goal of prostate care after 50 is stability. Stable circulation, stable inflammation levels, stable urinary patterns. Extreme swings are the enemy of comfort. Foods that push the body too hard, even healthy ones, need respect. Think of beet juice like a powerful supplement disguised as a drink. You wouldn't mix multiple supplements randomly and hope for the best. Food deserves the same thought. If you take one idea from this entire discussion, let it be this. Prostate health is not about restriction, it's about alignment. When foods align with your body's current needs, symptoms quiet down. When they don't, the prostate speaks up. Listening early prevents escalation later. Many men notice improvement not by cutting beet juice entirely, but by changing when they drink it, how often, and what they avoid pairing it with. Small adjustments often produce surprisingly large relief. This is why blanket advice fails. Your age, prostate size, kidney function, activity level, and meal patterns all matter. And this brings me to something crucial. Most men don't need more information. They need sequencing. What to do first, what to stop combining, what to monitor before assuming the worst. When you understand sequence, prostate health becomes manageable instead of mysterious. If you're still watching, it tells me you're serious about protecting your health, not just reacting to fear. That matters, because the next step isn't about adding another juice, supplement, or restriction. It's about clarity. In the next part, I'm going to explain exactly how to drink beet juice safely after 50, when it actually helps instead of hurts, and which signs tell you your prostate is being irritated long before blood tests change. Most men never learn this until they're already worried. You don't have to be one of them. Stay with me, because what you're about to learn can spare you years of unnecessary symptoms, confusion, and anxiety. And once you understand this, you'll never look at healthy foods the same way again.